This next portion is going to be about Bill and Hillary Clinton. In 1992, Bill Clinton was elected and he was our president for 8 years. He's a Democrat, okay? So, President Clinton appoints his wife, Hillary Clinton, to the head of a task force to reform health care in an effort to provide everyone with health care coverage. So they wanted everybody in the entire country to have government-funded health care, okay? This is not going to happen, folks. In fact, we're going to have to wait a couple of more presidents, and Barack Obama is going to pass Obamacare, or the Affordable Health Care Act. So this was a failure for Bill Clinton and his wife right out of the gate here, okay? So the plan was opposed by small businesses because it would put too much burden on of the coverage on the employer. So basically, they wanted the employer to pay for the majority of the health care, and small businesses shut them down for that because it would have cost too much money, and it would have raised prices of everything all over the country and caused massive amounts of inflation, which is exactly what happened when Obama passed Obamacare 10 years later or so, okay? 15 years later. All right, anyway, the American Medical Association also fought the bill. Okay, so they failed at the National Health Care Bill. But they did do a couple of good things, okay? One thing was the Family Medical Leave Act provides 12 weeks of leave for the birth or adoption of a child. This only covers the mother, okay? Fathers are not going to get paternal leave for babies unless their company deems that necessary or acceptable. Some companies out there do that, but it's pretty rare. It's usually just the mom that gets off of work for 12 weeks. We have the Brady Bill, a very controversial bill. The Brady Bill said that all gun sales had to have a background check by the local police. Now, this does not include private sales. So this is only if you're buying from a store. And by the way, this is still in effect today. If you buy a firearm in this country from a store, you have to do a background check. Now, if you're buying from an individual, you do not have to do a background check, okay? But you cannot willingly and knowingly sell to a felon. So you can't sell to somebody, you're not supposed to sell to somebody that's not supposed to have the right to actually own a firearm. That is the Brady Bill. Here we go. Individuals with felony criminal records are not legally permitted to purchase firearms. However, some gun dealers do not enforce these gun laws and sell firearms to convicted felons. How might the federal government reduce the number of illegally purchased guns while protecting the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding gun owners? Okay, let's see. Which one's going to talk about a background check? Here we are. Okay. Require gun sellers to perform background checks on purchasers before each sale. Okay. Now, one good thing that he did, that Bill Clinton did, aside from that, is the Health Insurance Portability Act. Okay, it helps people who change jobs with pre-existing illnesses, which would previously not be covered. So, the way insurance works, folks, I'm sure you know, you pay a little bit, a lot every month. Actually, I think my health insurance is $700 a month for my family, something like that. But anyway, so an insurance company does not want to cover cost of a pre-existing illness. So let's say you have cancer, but you have no insurance, right? And then you get insurance. Well, they're not going to want to pay for your cancer treatment because you weren't on the insurance whenever you got the cancer, okay? So people that are switching jobs, because a lot of people get their health care through their job, people that are switching jobs oftentimes lose coverage for their health care whenever they switch jobs. The Health Insurance Portability Act says that you can actually keep the insurance from your old job, so that way there's no lapse in coverage, that you're not starting over again with a new health insurance company. And this helps a lot of Americans, A, to not be stuck in their job, okay, to be able to leave and go do something else, and B, it helps them to maintain that coverage during that time. We have the Welfare Reform Act. This is very odd for a Democrat to do. Usually it's always Republicans making it welfare reform a big deal. But Bill Clinton, in the Welfare Reform Act, limits the time on welfare, so you can only stay on it for so long. It also requires welfare recipients to work in order to receive benefits. Now, a lot of that stuff has gone away. We've changed it. It's not as good as it used to be, apparently. Now, in the middle of his presidency, the Speaker of the House, his name was Newt Gingrich. This guy right here, he's still around, by the way. He's still very politically active. He's a Republican, and he comes in and he says things have gone out of whack. We are, losing our way as a country. And so what he did is he did something called the Contract with America. Okay, the Republican Contract with America. In other words, if you elect us to Congress, we are going to make these changes. And they gave a list of things that they were going to change and work for. And the American people bought it. And even though we had a Democrat as president, the House of Representatives and the Senate swung to the Republicans during this time, making it much harder for Bill Clinton to pass any future bills because you've got a Democratic president with a Republican Congress. They don't usually get along that well, okay? And you're kind of seeing that right now with Joe Biden, but anyway. All right, the budget battle, 1994. President Clinton vetoed the Republican budget proposal and refused to back down when the Republican-controlled Congress threatened to have no budget and thus shut down the federal government. Clinton's strong stand increased his approval rating. Basically, our national debt was growing and growing, just like it is today, and the Republicans had had enough. They basically said, we're going to either shut down the government or we are going to lower taxes and pay off this national debt. And the Republicans stood strong until the very end, and then they caved. And President Clinton was able to sign the new bill that increased the debt ceiling and also got a lot more money for the federal government. And he came out looking like a hero because of all this. Okay?